Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making the tutorial for this beautiful crochet dress. I made it a while back and I just forgot about it. So I was just scrolling through my phone and I saw this beautiful piece I made a long time ago. I decided to share this one with you guys. So without further ado, let us get into the tutorial for today. Okay, so for this project, these are the materials that you're going to need. All right, this time around I'm using a brown and this beautiful peach color, and then you are going to need the scissors. Of course, you need your measurement tape. This is very important. Then you need some stitch markers. Then you need your tapestry needle, of course. Then on this project, I'm going to be working with two hook sizes. All right, I'm going to be using the 5mm hook size and the 6mm hook size. All right, but don't worry, as we go I'm going to be explaining to you where we will need the 5mm hook size and the 6mm hook size. All right, so let's get into the tutorial. Okay, so for this project, the measurements you need is going to be your hips measurements and the length you want your gown to be in. All right, you can decide to make it a long gown or a short gown, so that will depend on you. All right, so when you get your hips measurement, you are going to be adding either 4 or 5 inches to it. All right, so I'm making this one now for myself and my hips measures 44. I'm just going to be adding 4 more inches to it, so I'm going to be making a 48 inches on my own. All right, so we are going to be starting with the 5mm hook size. All right, don't be alarmed that I'm using a different hook. This is the one I feel comfortable using, but there is no, the write-up has gone out. That's why I'm using the other one to show you the hook sizes that we are using so you do not forget. All right, so we are going to be starting with the 5mm hook size to create the foundation chain. Okay, so we are going to be working 2 panels. All right, so we are going to be sharing the 48 inches into 2 panels. All right, so I'm going to be starting with the first panel now, and I'm going to be making 24 inches on the first panel. All right, so you go ahead now to do your hips measurements, and whatever you get for your hips measurements, add either 4 or 5 more inches to it and divide it into 2. Okay, so my own measurement now happens to be 24 for the very first panel, so I'm just going ahead now to make 24 inches on the foundation chain. So if you are following my own measurements, then let us go ahead to make the 24 inches on this foundation chain now. All right, so that's 1 2 3 4 5 101. So I now have my foundation chain. I ended up making 101 chain. That is what gave me my own 24 inches for my first panel. And I forgot to mention, when you do your foundation chain, make sure you do it in multiples of 4. Okay, and then 1 at the end. Multiples of 4 and then 1 at the end. Okay, so now I have my foundation chain of 101. All right, so for the row 1 now, we are going to be making single crochet all across this foundation chain. Okay, so you are going to chain up 1 and skip that 1, and on the next chain stitch you are going to go in with a single crochet. All right, and then on the next stitch you are going to go in with a single crochet, and then on the next stitch you are going to go in with a single crochet. So this is what you continue on the very first row. You're going to do single crochet all across this particular chain now, and then I'm going to meet you at the end here to show you what we are going to be doing next. Okay, so I'm done putting in the single crochet, which is our first row now. All right, so now we are going to be switching to the 6mm hook size. So you drop the 5mm hook size and you start using your 6mm hook size. So for the next row now, with the 6mm hook size, you are going to chain up 7. All right, so that's 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. And then you are going to turn your work to the other side. All right, and then you are going to skip 3 stitches. You don't count this very first stitch here where you did your chain 7 from, so you start counting from the second stitch. Okay, so count 3, 1 2 3, and on the 4th stitch you are going to make a treble crochet right there. So 1 2 3, and on the 4th stitch you go in with a treble crochet. And then you are going to chain up 3, 1 2 and 3, and you are going to make a treble crochet on the 4th stitch, on the next 4th stitch. So count another 3 stitch, 1 2 3, and on the 4th stitch you are going to go in with a treble crochet again. And then you chain 3 and do a treble crochet on the 4th stitch again, 1 2 3, and on the 4th stitch you go in with a treble crochet. So on this row, basically this is exactly what you are going to be repeating. Okay, so what you do, you are going to chain up 7 for the first one, and then turn your work to this side, and then you count 3 stitches, 1 2 3, and on the 4th stitch you make a treble crochet. Then you chain up 3, count 3 stitches, and make a treble crochet on the very 4th stitch. Then you chain up 3 again, count 3 stitches, and on the 4th stitch you make a treble crochet. So this is what you are going to continue until you get to the end of this row. Okay, so when you get to the end here, I'll come back to show you what we are going to be doing next. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of the mesh row, and this is how it's looking. Okay, I had to fold it so that I'll be able to show you everything. All right, so to start on the next row now, you are going to chain up 7 again. 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. Then you are going to turn your work to the other side. All right, so now you are going to skip this space here, and on the next stitch, the previous treble crochet stitch, that is where you are going to make your next treble crochet. Okay, we are still on the mesh, and we are still on the 6mm hook size. So you chain up 3 again and skip the space. And on the next stitch, you are going to go in with a treble crochet. And I believe by now we all know how to make a treble crochet. So chain up 3 again and skip the space and go into the next stitch now with a treble crochet. Chain up 3 and skip the next space, and on this stitch now go in with a treble crochet. For those of us who don't know how to make the treble crochet, maybe I should take it. You are going to yarn over twice, just like this, and skip the space here, and on this space you are going to go in there and then pull up a loop. So you have 4 on your hook. Yarn over, pull out 2 loops, so you have 3 on your loop on your hook. Yarn over, pull out 2 loops, so now that you have 2 on your hook, you yarn over and pull out the 2 remaining loops. All right, so that is how you do a treble crochet. So this is exactly what you are going to do for this row 2 until you get to the end of this row here, and I'll come back to show you what we are going to be doing next. All right, okay, so I've gotten to the end of the second row of the mesh, and this is how it's looking. All right, I just want to show you how I end it here so we can start on the next row. So we've gotten to the end here now. So what you're going to do, you're going to chain up 3, 1 2 and 3. So on these parts now, you are going to count 3 chain stitches. So 1 2 3, and on the 4th chain stitch here, please just watch what I'm doing. Okay, On the 4th chain stitch, that is where you are going to go in with your last treble. Okay, so the count is 1, 2, 3, and on the 4th chain stitch you go in with a treble crochet to end this row here. Okay, so now to start on the next row, you are going to chain up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then you're going to turn your work to the other side. Okay, so now you're going to skip this space and go into the next stitch now with a treble crochet, just like we did on the previous row. Okay, now chain 3 again, skip the space and go into the next stitch with a treble crochet. Chain up 3, 1, 2, 3, and do a treble crochet on the next stitch. So on this row, this is basically what you are going to be doing again. All right, so this is what you are going to do again until you get to the end of this 3rd row of the mesh. And when I get here, I'll come back to show you what we are going to be doing next. All right. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of the 3rd row of the mesh stitch now. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to be changing my yarn color to the other yarn color, this peach color that I'm using. All right, so what I will do, I'm just going to chain up 1, and then I'm going to cut off the brown yarn. All right, and I'll tie this one. And also we are going to be changing our hook size to the smaller hook size, which is the 5mm hook size. So we are dropping the 6 now and starting off with this peach color with the 5mm hook size. So now we are going to be doing single crochets. All right, just like we did in the very beginning. All right, so but this time around we are using the peach color now to start on the single crochet. All right, so just make a slip knot. And then you are going to reattach your yarn at the very end here where we ended the last one. Okay, so you're just going to reattach your yarn there and you are going to chain up 2. Okay, so to begin the single crochet on this row now, you are going to chain up 2. So 1 and 2. And on this next space now, you are going to go in with 3 single crochet. 1, 2, and 3. And then on the next stitch you are going to go in with a single crochet, and on the next space you are going to go in with 3 single crochet. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And on the previous treble crochet stitch you are going to go in now with 1 single crochet. So basically on this particular row, that is exactly what you are going to do until the end of this row. Okay, so you are going to start off with a chain 2 at the very beginning. So you insert your yarn at the very first stitch here, you chain up 2, and on the next space you put in 3 single crochet, and on the previous treble crochet stitch you are going to put in 1 single crochet, and on the next space you put in 3 single crochet, and on the previous treble crochet stitch you put in 1 single crochet. So that is what you are going to continue until you get to the end here, and I'll come back to show you how we end it and how we are going to start on the next row. Okay, so I've gotten to the end of the single crochet row and this is how it's looking. So I just want to show you how I end it here so we can start on the next row. Okay, so the last space now, you are going to go into that space with 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And now from the bottom here, you are going to count up 3 stitches, and on the 4th one, that is where you are going to be putting the last single crochet. All right, so 1, 2, 3, and this is the 4th stitch. So 1, 2, 3, the 4th stitch, you're going to go in with a single crochet on that 4th stitch right there, and that is where you are going to end this row. All right, so now to start on the next row, you are going to chain up 1, and then you are going to turn your work to the other side, and we are going to be making another row of single crochet. All right, so on this very first stitch here, now you are going to go in with a single crochet, and on the next stitch you're going to go in with a single crochet, and on the next you're going to go in with a single crochet. So basically you're just going to be putting in another row of single crochet with this same color and with our smaller hook size, which is the 5mm hook size. Okay, and when you get to the end right here, I'll come back to show you what we're going to do next. Okay, I'm done putting in the second row of the single crochets, and this is how it came out, as you can see. So now we are going to be changing back to the brown color. All right, so now we have 1 single crochet where we begin from, and then we use the same brown color to put 3 mesh rows, and now we've used the other color to put in 2 single crochet rows. So now we are going to be repeating this 3 mesh row. All right, so now I'm going to cut off the pink yarn, and then I'm going to tie this one now. So chain up 1 and tie. So we are going to be changing to the 6mm hook size, so the 5 can go. Okay, so let me let you know now, when you want to do the single crochets, that is when you use the 5mm hook size. But when you want to go back to the mesh rows, you go back to 6mm hook size. All right, so now we are going back to the mesh rows. All right, so make a slip knot and reattach your brown yarn on this very place now where you ended the single crochet rows. All right, so turn your work to the other side, and on the very first stitch here, that is where you are going to insert the yarn, and then you are going to chain up 7. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so now you are going to skip 3 stitches, and on the 4th stitch you are going to go in with a treble crochet, just like we've been doing on this previous mesh area. Okay, so now you are going to do a treble crochet on the very 4th stitch, 1, 2, 3, and on the 4th one you are going to go in there with a treble crochet, and then you're going to chain up 3, and then you're going to count 3 stitch again, 1, 2, 3, and on the 4th one you are going to go in there with a treble crochet. All right, so we are back to our treble crochet mesh rows now. So you are going to chain up 3 again and do a treble crochet on the 4th stitch. So count 1, 2, 3, and on the 4th stitch you are going to go in there with a treble crochet. So on this row, that is exactly what you are going to be doing again. Okay, so this is the row we are going to be repeating for the desired length of our gown. Okay, so let me explain it very clearly now. All right, so on this row now you are going to go ahead to finish this until you get to this end part, and you go ahead to do 3 of the mesh rows just like we did here. So you do 1, 2, 3 rows of the mesh, and then you are going to change colors again. If you are using 2 or more colors, that is when you do the switch to your next color. But if you are not changing colors, you can just go ahead to use the same color to do the single crochet rows. All right, so when you do 3 of the mesh rows, you do 2 rows of single crochet, 3 of the mesh row, 2 rows of single crochet. Okay, so I'm just going to go off camera now to do the desired length that I want, and then when I come back, I'm going to show you how I play with the color patterns. Okay, so I'm done with the first panel, and this is how it's looking. My table is not big enough to show you the entire thing, so I had to take it here to show you. But so far, this is how it's looking. I want it to be a long gown, so I ended up doing 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 of the mesh rows, and then I did 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 of the single crochet rows. All right, so 12 of the mesh rows and 12 of the single crochet row. So as you can see how I played with the colors. So I started with the brown in the first single crochet, then I put in 3 of the peaches, and then I came back with the brown again, and 3 of the peaches, and came back with the brown again. I just wanted to have this aesthetic so it's not boring. All right, so now the next step is to go ahead to create an identical of this particular panel. All right, because I told you we are going to be working 2 panels. So you go ahead now to make exactly the same thing that you got on your very first panel, which is an identical one like this, and I'll come back to show you what we are going to be doing next. All right, okay, so I'm done with both the panels, and this is how it's looking. So as you can see, it's identical. You know, we started with the foundation chain here, and we put just 1 single crochet. So the ending is going to be exactly the same thing as well. You're just going to put only 1 of the single crochet at the very end here. The next step now is going to be joining it together. So I'm going to take it to my table now, and I'm going to show you how we are going to join our gown together. All right, okay, so we are going to be joining the shoulders first right here to reveal our neck area. All right, so I've gone ahead to put the stitch markers where I want to join for the shoulders and reveal the neck parts. All right, but you can go ahead to try yours on to know what you want to leave, the inches you like to leave for your neck. All right, but if you are following my measurements, what I did is I took 11 inches out of this place. But you know, since it's mesh, it goes wider. So what I just did is I counted the mesh area, so I just put my hands in the holes. All right, putting 2 together. So I did 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. So I put the stitch marker here because I'm going to be ending it on the stitch just after the stitch marker. That is how I will mark where I want my neck to be. So what I just did, I did it on the 2 sides, and I put my stitch marker. So this is where my neck is going to be. If yours is smaller, please you go ahead to do your own measurements and your own count. Okay, it's just what I did on my own size, which is this measurement. That is what I'm telling you at the moment. All right, so let us go about joining it together. All right, so for the joining, I'm going to be using the tapestry needle. Okay, so when I finish my work, I always like to leave a long tail, so it makes it easier for me to just start sewing instead of going to get another strand and be inserting inside my needle. But if you do not have a long thread like this, it's very okay. All right, you can still go ahead and get a strand from your yarn and just fix it in your needle, and we'll get sewing right away. Okay. Okay, so to start on the joining, you're just going to put your yarn inside your tapestry needle, just like that. And now, since this yarn is already connected to my project, all I just need to do is find the very first stitch here, and I'm just going to go into the very first stitch to connect the 2 panels together. So as you can see, And before we continue, this is just one way of joining panels together. There are different ways of joining panels together. You can decide to join with a slip stitch, or you can decide to join with the single crochet. They will all come out very beautifully. But I just like to join my shoulders with this one so it is not too puffy. When you join with your tapestry needle, it all go straight. You see it when we are done fixing it, when we are done joining it together, you see what I'm trying to explain now. Because with this one, you can actually decide to do it in front or do it at the back. You won't consider one place front or one place back, because both the sides, they are going to be very, very neat. All right, so let's go ahead to join. So you go to the next panel now and take the needle through the bottom of the stitch and drag it out, and come to the next panel again. On the next stitch, you take it through the bottom. Please just watch what I'm doing carefully, so if you don't understand what I'm saying, at least you'll be seeing what I'm doing. Okay, so you go to the next panel now and go through the bottom of the stitch and drag it out just like that, and come back here again and go through the bottom and drag it out just like that, and go to the next panel and take the stitch through the bottom just like that. So just make sure you are following the stitch. Okay, don't miss any stitch, because if you miss one of the stitch, it won't go accordingly. Because what you are trying to do now is to make sure the mesh stitches, they align together. All right, because we do not want one side lagging and leaving the other side. So when you keep doing that now, you see them aligning together. All right, so you go ahead now to join both the shoulders with this pattern if you choose to use this pattern. And when I'm done with mine, I'll come back to show you how it's looking and what we are going to be doing next. Okay, so I'm done joining both the shoulders together. So this is how it's looking. You see how neat it looks? So even the back is looking as neat as well. So you don't have to choose one place to be front, one place to be back. That is what I meant when I was trying to explain it to you. So as you can see now, you know, after putting the one single crochet on each side, when you bring it together, it comes as if it's two that you made. As you can see, inside the body, this one is two. So after joining it, it comes out like here two, you added two. So that's just the secret to why I wanted us to put just one single crochet on that part. So now we are going to be putting one single crochet just around the neck now, so it will be the same size with this single crochet that is here. Okay, so let's go ahead now and put a single crochet all around the neck just to make it firmer, like here. All right, so let's get into that one. Okay, so we are going to be using the 5mm hook. You remember that is what we've been using to do the single crochets all around. All right, so we are going to be using the 5mm hook size. So just insert your yarn anywhere. I decided to insert mine where I ended up the join on the shoulders. All right, but you can just go ahead to put it anywhere you like. Okay, and then you're going to chain up one. And then on the next stitch now, you're just going to put in one single crochet. And on the next stitch, you're going to put in one single crochet. This one is easy because it's just the single crochet stitch that you're just going to be putting in one single crochet. So you go ahead now to put one single crochet on each of the stitch all around the neck. And when I'm done with mine, I'll come back to show you how it's looking and what we are going to be doing next. All right. Okay, so I'm done putting in the single crochet all across the neck. As you can see, it looks better and firmer. Look at this part now. All right, so the next step now is going to be joining the sides. All right. So now we have to do our measurements to reveal the arm area. You can just go ahead to put the gown on your body now. All right, just put it on your body and know where you want to take out as the arm. All right, why I don't want to use the measurement tape is going to be tricky right now, because like I told you, mesh stretches. All right, so as you can see now, it's still 9. The measurement of the arm now is still 9 because around my arm is 18, so we still got 9, but it's just better for you to put it on top your body and do that measurement just like that. If you do not want to wear it on your body, then just put it on your mannequin to know what you should leave around your arm. Okay, so you do not make any mistake. All right, so we are just going to go ahead now to join the sides together. Okay, when I was joining my sides on the previous one I made, I didn't join it all the way down. I left slits on the 2 sides, so I'm going to be doing exactly the same thing on this one as well. So I don't know if you want to do your own all the way to the ground, but me, I'm just going to be leaving this area. So this is the end now. Okay, I'm just going to be leaving 1 of this mesh, 2 of the mesh, 3 of the mesh, 4 of the mesh, and I'm going to be starting the join from these parts. All right, if you remember my color pattern, I like to use color patterns because it's easier for me to know what I want to do on the joining. All right, so after my 3 colors, the brown color now, this is where I'm going to be starting my joining. All right, so I'm just going to put the 2 sides together now. Okay, and this joining, we are going to be joining with a single crochet. Yay! This is the first time I'm actually joining with a single crochet. I always like to use needle, but this one is easier to use the single crochet. So what you are going to do now to join this, because we are using the single crochet, you are going to be turning the work to the other side. So you are going to turn the work now to the back. So this is what I've been trying to advise you all the way. If you are doing with the needle, you really do not have to turn it to the back side. But when you are doing with either a slip stitch or a single crochet, you need to turn it to the back side because that is where we want the old puffiness to be in. Okay, so make sure you arrange it very well so one side will not be longer than the other side. Where is it now? Okay, this is it. Hold on. Okay, this is the back. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now they are together. So this is where we are going to be starting the joining. All right, so I'm just going to take my yarn now, and I'm going to be joining with the 5mm hook size. All right, so I'm just going to make a slip knot now, and I'm going to reattach my brown yarn because I'm going to be joining with the brown, obviously. The brown is our primary color. So just insert your yarn. Make sure you are putting the 2 together because now we are joining it together. So just watch what I'm doing carefully. So on the very last stitch on this part here now, that is where you insert your yarn. Pull it through the 2 stitches on the 2 panels and then chain up 1. Okay, and then on that same stitch now you're going to put in 1 single crochet, and on the next stitch close to it right there you're going to put in 1 single crochet, just like that. And then on this space now you are going to put in 4 single crochet on this space. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so now you are going to jump to the next space and you are going to put in 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you are going to jump to the next space again. You are going to put in 4 single crochets in that space. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this has brought us now to our single crochet rows. So on the single crochet rows now, on the very first stitch here, you are going to put in 1 single crochet. Make sure you are taking the 2 sides of the panel. All right, so on the first single crochet row, you are going to go in with 1 single crochet. Please watch what I'm doing carefully. And on the second single crochet row right here, you are going to go in with another single crochet. Just like that. And on the next space now, make sure you're putting the 2 together. You're going to go in with 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is basically what you're going to be doing to join. Okay, so on each of the spaces, you're going to go in with 4 single crochet. And when you get to the single crochet rows, you're going to put in 1 single crochet on the first stitch and 1 single crochet on the second stitch. Then when you get to the space again, you put in 4 until you get to your stitch marker. All right, so when I get to my stitch marker now, I'll come back to show you what we are going to be doing next. All right, okay, so I've gotten to where my stitch marker is now. All right, so I added the last 4 single crochet on this space. So you see where we put the stitch marker here now is a stitch. All right, so you're going to remove that stitch marker right there. Okay, so on that very stitch now, you are going to put in 1 single crochet on that stitch. So take this part of the stitch and take this other part and then make a single crochet on the both side. So now you leave this other side, you leave this other panel. Please just watch what I'm doing carefully. You leave this other panel and start working on this side. Just one of the panels, that's when you start working. And when you work, don't work on this side yet. Take this side out of it and start working here, so that the single crochet that you are going to be making now is going to favor the front, because I want the single crochet to face the front. So take this one away from the stitch and start working on this side. All right, so on the next space now, you are going to go in with 4 single crochet. 2, 3, and then 4. All right, just like we've been doing and joining, but this time around we are not joining together. We are just going to be putting in one of the panel, because this is the arm area now. All right, so on the single crochet row, you are going to go in with 1 single crochet on the first one, and on the second row you are going to go in with a single crochet. Okay, and now on the next space you are going to go in with 4 single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then on the next space again, you're going to go in with 4 single crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is exactly what you're going to do. All right, so just go around now with the single crochet on the arm area. All right, so you go in, go around the arm now twice with single crochet. Okay, so I'm going to go off camera now to do 2 rows of single crochet on the arm area, and I'll be right back to show you what we are going to be doing next. Okay, so I'm done putting in the 2 rows of single crochet on the arm area. So I'm just going to cut off my yarn here now. and I'm going to tie it. Okay, so we are done with one side of the joining. So what you are going to do now, you are going to go ahead and do exactly the same thing we just did here. To join on this side, you are going to do it on the other side. Okay, so me now, I'm going to go off camera and do the joining, and I'll come back to show you the finished result. All right. Okay, so I'm done joining the two sides together now, and I went ahead to do the 2 rows of single crochet like we did on the other side. So what I'm going to do next now is just to weave in all of these ends that is left, and I'm going to come back to show you the final result on my body. Okay guys, so this is the final result of the crochet dress that we just made. I just had to put it on my body so you see how gorgeous this looks. All right, what do you think? Please be sure to put it on the comment section what you think of this dress, and if you have any questions about this project, put it in the comment section below as well, and I will be happy to help. All right, so make sure you like the video and share it to your friends and family who wants to make something as beautiful as this. And if you know you've not subscribed to my channel before, please do so now, and make sure you click on that little notification bell below so you do not miss out on all of these beautiful tutorials that I post. All right, so until next time, bye bye.